Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I am so excited to be here with you. And like I said, I think it's gonna add so much value, so much value. So can we get a temperature check? How is everybody? Put from 1 to 10. What is your week been like so far? 10 being, you realize what you bring to the table, and that's like a lottery win, or one being, you just got fired or whatever. So yeah, what's your week been like so far? What have we got in the chats? Okay. There's always one. Bolaji's at 12. What else do we have? How is your week been so far? Fatman's an 8, Desmond's a 6. Okay. Okay. How is everybody else doing? It's only Monday. You're right, Franzia. You're right. I shouldn't be getting ahead of myself. Okay. David's at 10. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So nobody less than 5. That's really good. We're all above average. Well done, Faith. We've got 8. So, like I said, Ezekiel is at 8.5. Thank you, son. I am really excited about today. I think it's going to be a great conversation, and I think you're gonna get value. I am going to introduce my special guest, but I've just got to read his bio. So my special guest today says this is what it says about himself. Over 18 years of corporate experience working for top investment banks. Bolaji has directed many multi-million dollar enterprise implementations and has notably secured over £6 million in sales for one of his clients, a top SAS company. He's also spearheaded multiple high-level, where are we? High-level ticket business launches and has recently been helping business owners and entrepreneurs use their online profiles to create highly profitable online courses and academies. So, without further ado, I would like you to welcome my special guest, who just happens to be my brother, Bolaji Olatoye.
Hey everybody. Wow. I feel like a visiting minister, like from when you have
Yeah, yeah,
ministers visiting from far and wide, and they're giving this long intro and you're just
yeah.
there like, yeah,
International speaker.
yeah.
Yeah.
But to be
All
fair, I
right.
was blushing when you said all of that. That's kind of like a bio that you have to use on like CVs and stuff like that. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
No,
just
but
Bolaji. But yeah.
you did it. You did it. So, Plus, I don't know anybody that could see the blushing.
It's I've got like a filter on it, it hides
Yeah,
the
yeah.
blushing.
Yes, that's what it is. Okay. So, welcome. Welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you for having me. It's a
It's
pleasure. It's an honor.
it's an ex conversation we've been trying to plan for a long time, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, for those of you who don't know, Bolaji is my brother. And I think I want to give you the floor just to talk a bit more about you and how you've come to be in this place where that bio is about you. So take it away.
Yeah, okay. So what I would say is I I see myself as an unlikely candidate. So I feel like I've been living kind of like an underdog life and a challenger life. So I feel like I've always been striving to kind of like be more. And I would say that it probably started off from childhood. So I'm not going to give you like a very long spiel, but it's important to know kind of like my story. So as the youngest of the Olatoye household and
We,
of a
we should have asked
traditionally,
if they thought it was older, right?
yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, we could do that, but
No,
you've
it's too
given it
late.
away now. So yeah. To be fair, I'm balding more, so you know, you're winning in that
Your
department.
bald
But
ninja, my patches.
you're
But,
yeah.
yeah. only tall people can see.
Have you been using dye on the
No, no,
on
no, no, no.
no,
Lena wants.
okay. Oh, okay, on the side.
I've earned it. I've earned it. Sorry, sorry, carry on.
Sorry. Yeah. So as the youngest in a Nigerian household, I think my experience was so yes, I was probably cuddled and I was probably the baby, but like there was this sense of hierarchy and the oldest person having the voice. So it's Benga, then it's Ayo, and then I typically felt like, okay, for me to be noticed and to be seen as, more than just the cute one, I had to like do things to kind of show my function and my ability. So that's why I think from an early age, I think I was just trying to get daddy's attention, to be honest with you. Like, oh yeah, yeah, I can type faster than anybody else. I can play the drums. I can play the keys. I try to do everything. And then
Look at me. Look at me. Yeah.
yeah, look at me, look, I'm doing it. But over time, I think this kind of developed maybe skills and desires, and I've gone on to basically just, I would say, attempt things. So I've managed music, I've done events, I've had a career, and I've run businesses, and I run businesses. Um, but one of the main things that I feel like has been pivotal or very characteristic of my journey is I feel like I've gone through challenges and I've had like people tell me that I cannot do things, and then I've gone on and done it. So case in point, you know, when I was when I started working for a company called JP Morgan, I joined the grad scheme, and I was categorically told. So I landed myself in like a sales support role. And because I'm typically, introverted, shy, and I'm not really like the outgoing person that you might associate with sales. And I was told categorically, you will never do well in sales. They told me
Imagine.
that to my face, and I was like, oh,
Imagine.
okay. So I was like, okay, cool. But then now what I'm doing is I'm helping people in sales. That's why I like putting that thing on my bio. Like I helped company make 6 million. It's not to brag. It's just like, I can't believe that this is the same person that was told you can never do it. I think another thing that really was pivotal for me is when I was starting off in my career, I was doing mock interviews. I was basically trying to get into, a corporate career. And because I was so painfully like shy and, giving all the anxiety that you could think of, when I was having my mock interview, the lady, I remember vividly, this lady was telling me, she was like, are you okay? Like, it looks like you're about to cry. And I was like, yeah, maybe, I'm gonna go cry in the
Wow.
car, so but then now fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, now I'm teaching people how to get careers, right? So I have my own career training company. I'm helping people to get jobs. I had a really, rough experience in one of the companies that I worked with, the same company that I did, 6 million in sales for. It was a really rough time I had there. But like what I'm doing now with my own company is I've basically replicated the same model that company uses for myself. So I'm saying all of these things to say like my journey has been a journey of like knockbacks, but
Mm,
also, moving forward and basically defiance. Like there's something in me that has always been like, ah, I don't believe you
yeah.
when you said I
Okay.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't believe you, but then I think recently I've stopped, behaving like the challenger, because the challenger, behaves in a way where it's like, okay, I am beneath. So I'm punching up. So whereas like, okay, now I'm like, okay, do you know what? Yeah, I'm all right now. Like let me behave as if I'm the champion kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of where my journey is at the moment. And I'm on a mission to help people realize their true potential in any way that I can. So there's a number of things that I'm involved in, but everyone stems from, if I can just get you to believe that you can do a little bit more than you thought you could do, I'm happy. So
Wow. Okay. That is some of the stuff I hadn't heard before. So that's really, 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 really deep. Now, I mean, I think everybody, I think a lot of people can relate. I can relate to being in a situation where, like you say, you've been told you can't, or you don't believe you can, and
Yeah,
having to fight through that and get to the point where actually, not only am I, like, not only did I prove you wrong, but actually, no, I deserve to be in this space, you know?
yeah.
So you said that you always, like it started off with quiet defiance on the inside of you. So where did that come from?
I honestly don't know. I've been asked this question before, like, oh, why did you get yourself into these things? What was it about you? Like, what was it the nurture versus nature? Like, what
Yeah.
was it that made you behave in this way? I don't know. I think maybe I was just like a quiet rebel, but a rebel that was too shy and scared to behave like a rebel, but like, what I'm saying about you in my head.
Yeah.
I'm cussing you out in my head, but in person, nah. Like,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I think maybe I developed that kind of thing. Yeah,
Later, okay. Okay,
yeah,
so just for the sake of, because I think it's important to maybe my next question, let's talk
yeah,
about all the things that you're involved in now.
yeah.
So just list them.
Okay, so I have a property portfolio. So I do this thing called rent to rent, where we have properties, we rent them out. So that one's kind of like just ticking along. But the thing that really takes a lot of my attention, and the stuff that I'm really excited about, is the digital agency. So I run a digital agency where I help companies and individuals to build marketing campaigns. There's this kind of technical term called funnels and landing pages and sales pages. And along the way, I developed my own software. So I have my own software that we license to companies and clients on a monthly retainer. And then the thing that I'm like really, really excited about is I run coaching programs. So I help people who would like to launch something but don't know where to start, and might be feeling, oh, I'm not sure whether I can do it or not. I've got a program specifically for those type of people that takes them from sort of zero to launch. And then I've got a program for people who they've realized, oh, okay, I've launched something, I can do some stuff here. So I've got a program that takes them to like 5 figures and beyond. So and I also have a careers training program as well. So I train people to get into project management careers. And I do what they call it like a CMO function. So I have a consulting role for certain organizations where I just do advisory on their marketing campaigns on like a monthly basis.
You see, there were so many things you have to remember. Like, is that all? Like, there's music and stuff as well, or
Yeah, yeah, there's music as well. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where I just I just do me, if that makes sense. So
yeah, yeah.
um yeah, at any time I'm just me. Yeah.
Okay. So my follow-up question, so you've got your fingers in all of these pies, you're in all these rooms, you're CEO of so many things. Uh, like, what gives you the right to 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 do all those things? Why you? Why you taking up all the space that everyone else should be taking?
Yeah. So if I should be asking you the same question, I don't, there's not too much difference there, but um I I would say, why not? Right? Why not me and why not anybody else? I believe firmly in my position as a child of God, right?
Mm,
So, child of God, you're positioned to be the salt and light of the earth. So, if I have value to give in any arena, my whole thing is I'm gonna give that value. And I'm at a point in life now. I think this thing was probably sparked in me more than ever at the point, through the grieving process of daddy, where I'm
mm,
like, okay, there's so much in me.
mm.
And it's not even about like I want to get or I want to attain. I just want to make sure that when I have left this earth,
Yeah,
I have given every last drop, every last ounce of essence that is in me, so that when I get to the pearly gates, the only thing I want to hear is, well done,
well done, well done, well done, well
well done.
done.
That's it. So for me, I see it as a responsibility, because if you notice, the things that I'm involved in, they're not like random, and they're not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they are all kind of connected and linked in a certain way. So this is just me. I see it as a matter of purpose. I'm living out my purpose, and this is just how I believe God is calling me in that direction. So
Okay.
yeah.
That does, I mean, so much to unpack. Now you made a Instagram post today. You're talking about this conversation that we're having, and you said
Hold
that
on,
we're
I'm gonna need some support here. 1 second.
gonna
I feel like the questions are about to get harder. I need
okay.
my
Okay.
hold on. So yeah,
Your
so
hands are cold, right? Okay, no problem.
continue. Yeah.
What did you, is that Amazon?
Yeah, it's Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, nice. Send me the link. Um, so you
Is it
talked
is
about
Ezekiel watching?
Ezekiel's watching, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Kind of have serious conversation this guy's got. Marble gloves. But yeah, okay, okay. Game face. So you talked about you in your Instagram post, you said we're gonna talk about why it's necessary
Yeah.
to believe. Now, my thing is, okay, so advisory, fine,
Yeah.
encouraged, but you said necessary, which I thought was a very important word. Why necessary? Why can't I just believe just to be on this level? Why do I have to be
Yeah.
aspirational?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so everybody can do
Whatever they
whatever
want to
they
do.
want at the end of the day. But I would say, as a kingdom person, as a man of faith, as a man of God, um, the, if we know like uh our full potential, um, I believe that we owe it to ourselves to
Mm,
explore it. Right. So there's an analogy and there's a phrase that I've been saying quite a lot recently, and that is your potential was fully cooked at birth.
mm,
So what I really mean by that is the fullness of your potential inside of you was there at birth. All right. If you what is it? Jeremiah, 1:5, like God knew you in the womb. He
yeah, yeah.
knew everything that you had the potential to do at the point you were born. But then if you now add that to, your potential is unlimited. So we all have, and I believe that we all have the same unlimited potential. So with that being the case, if you think of somebody who, like, name somebody that you think, oh, this guy achieved a lot of things, like this person particularly, like when they passed, they did, like, yeah, they really did a lot, living, I mean, now in this era or in the past, like, look, can you think of somebody that you think, oh, do you know what, this person really, like, gave the extent of their, of their purpose or their.
I suppose Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Latoye.
Right.
And
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if we use that as an example, my thing is, even someone like that, there was more potential. If life would have carried on, there
yeah,
was more potential to give. So my thing is, once you know that, like, I'm now on a pursuit to really achieve. No, it's not even about achieving, it's to become
come.
what
Yeah,
I was what I was born to be. So like, as another example, this is a good one. The cocoon to a butterfly,
yeah,
the
yeah,
caterpillar to a butterfly,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So a caterpillar was always going to be a butterfly.
yeah.
So and the caterpillar actually may not know, you know,
It's a
they may not have
butterfly.
known that they were going
Yeah,
to be a butterfly. So
that's good.
I'm now there crawling along, and I'm getting pricked by all of these, leaves, and this tree is prickly. I wish I could fly. Life, woe is me.
Yeah,
This is long. But if that caterpillar knew that, couple of months down the line, or I don't know the lifespan of a caterpillar, but like, you are a
yeah,
butterfly in the making.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
just stick it out.
yeah.
So my thing is, I said it is necessary because you uh, it's for your own self. I don't want anybody to get to the point of the end of their life and realize that that there was more that I could have done, or
Yeah.
there was more that I could have given, So that's my thing. And it's not even about it really isn't about an amount of money. It's not even
Yeah.
about like,
Hey for me.
attaining everything. She's she's doing her hair, but she, she has something on her
Headphones,
yeah,
okay.
she's double booked basically. So
Okay, no, no worries. No, but you were saying no, but I think it's a really important thing. This concept of, like you say, die empty,
yeah,
and seed potential. The fact that you
yeah,
are everything. Like, there's nothing extra that you need. I think so much. I don't know where it comes from, but we've been sold a lie that I need more. I need to have more. I need to do more. I need to know more. I need to acquire more to be able to, be everything that I'm supposed to be. But I think the
yeah,
find it interesting is the when you say about become, because again, my own now understanding of where God says to Adam, be fruitful and multiply, the actual translation of that in the original language is Adam, become
mm,
yourself, almost,
yeah,
and what I've been looking at and telling people is that, like, obviously if you think about God being outside of time, and all of us having we're spiritual beings, we're having a temporary physical experience, so God already knew everything you put inside you, so
yeah,
you not pursuing everything that's inside you is making the world a lesser place, because God already planned for
exactly.
you to do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Um.
And I don't think it's a matter of time. So
Yeah.
there's another phrase that I said, which is like, oh, get there sooner, or believe in bigger sooner. And I think that can throw people off because you might think I'm saying rush. I'm not
Yeah.
saying rush. I'm just saying that, like, once you are fully aware of your potential, and sometimes you might need to go down a road of like skills development, skills stacking, learn, get
Yeah.
good at stuff so that you can just have an idea. Okay, I'm good at some stuff. Let me
Yeah.
now focus on, real purpose.
Yeah.
Once you get there, then you begin to realize that there are laws. There are laws in almost every arena that can get you somewhere quicker than you thought, quicker than you knew. You
Okay.
know,
Like a cheat code
I don't like to call it a cheat code because cheat code now seems a little,
implies. Yeah. Okay.
dirty or whatever. But like, even from a trading perspective, right, or for trading and investments, we now, or you guys now know that your money can do more than it would have done quicker. Like, you can amass more money if you put it into a vehicle than putting it into a like a normal bank account.
Yeah.
That isn't cheating. That is just, first of all, okay, I had a desire to make my money go further, and I now have a vehicle to do it.
Yeah.
It's not cheating, and it's not, you're breaking the rules. It's just there are certain rules that, like, they say, ignorance is bliss, but no, what you don't know can't hurt you. But actually, what you don't know can hurt
Well,
you.
yeah. And they can be very
So it's like
costly. Yeah.
it can be very costly. So I encourage people to, seek out knowledge. So it's like, if I now have, developed my skills a little bit, so that I now have, the capacity to think purpose. So when I'm thinking purpose, now I'm like, okay, what is the most efficient route to get to my purpose? And there is always there's probably always more of an efficient way than
And you think, yeah.
you're doing now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, Oh, sorry, I'm rambling, but I can add one more.
Yeah. Go on,
Um,
please. Yeah, it's all good.
so I've heard people talk about goal setting,
Yeah.
right? And there's a guy that I did intense kind of like mentor. He was my mentor for like about an intense 6 months in his program, Bob Proctor, right? So Bob
Yeah.
Proctor, we did real intense coaching with him, and as a result of that, my outlook on goal setting completely shifted. So he has this concept of type A and a type B and a type C goal, right? And a type A goal is something that you have done before, so you can, like, obviously do it again. A type B goal is something that, maybe you haven't exactly done it before, but you've done something similar enough so that you can laterally apply concept to the thing that you are, doing.
Yeah.
Then a type C goal is where, the proverbial magic happens, where you have no idea, right? But it's the type C goal is based completely about vision and
Yeah.
desire. So I want to do this thing. I want to achieve this thing. I want to be in this place. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but this is what I want to do. And there are
Yeah.
two kind of like supporting I guess things for that. One of them is I kind of see that as some of the teaching that we get in church and in kind of like ministry schools
Yeah.
where the thing that if it's a thing that that you really can't do, then it has to be God that
Yeah.
is gonna like help you to achieve it. And those are like the real goals that it's like, okay, this is almost, it could be a god thing.
Yeah.
But then also you've got someone Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein, he made a quote and it really resonated with me, and I think it applies. So Albert Einstein says, imagination is more important than knowledge, for
Mm.
knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the world, stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution. So I guess the thing I'm getting at there is we stunt ourselves and we stunt our progress because of what we know. Sometimes we're too intelligent for our own good.
Yeah.
And just like it says in the Bible, to get into the kingdom of heaven, you have to be as a child. Sometimes it's just like, listen,
Yeah.
Elsie teaches me all the time, like, oh, daddy, what does Elsie want? She wants to go. I think Disneyland was Elsie's idea. Elsie made Disney happen. Obviously, mommy and daddy had to eat baked beans for a little bit, but like, Elsie saw it. There was nothing stopping her in her mind, and
Yeah.
we did it. And I love that about children, and I wish that many of us would apply that to
Yeah.
our just everyday life and goal setting.
Okay, but so as much as that's good, like we've all been in situations where we've been children and we have
Yeah.
had childlike minds, just
Yes.
accepting the fact that we can do everything. Now
Yeah.
we're all here, we're not children anymore, and
Yeah.
becoming childlike is difficult. It's not childish, childlike. So
Yeah.
back to a position where I can just say, actually, I want to go to the moon, or actually, I want to have a company that that trades at seven figures. Or actually,
Yeah.
I want to, how do I get there from a belief
Yeah.
point of view?
Yeah. So I would say the first thing to train your belief is to train your thinking and vision. So I think a lot of the things that you have in your book are perfect for somebody who is looking to train their belief, because like your mind and your subconscious mind is just, it's like a computer program
Hmm.
that you need to feed with stuff.
Yeah, that's
One
good.
of the things that I feel like has benefited me is traveling. I've seen so many things. I've traveled the world. I've been to many countries. I've been to Dubai like, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times, every day Dubai. But like
That's what we're saying.
going next week. But the thing about it is, the simplest change in perspective, it it kind of logs something in your mind and it gives you an idea that you didn't have before. And if it's not traveling, I found, funnily enough, mommy, sorry, I know you're listening, but watching TV, right? Watching TV.
That,
I've,
the,
I,
the reason we're saying that is TV was not encouraged when we were growing up.
sorry, mommy, but like
Yeah,
watching TV and movies have been a
yeah,
great way to train creativity. So if you
yeah,
think back to the Albert Einstein quote, it's really about your imagination.
yeah,
So on that level, I feel like that levels the playing field. There is no barrier to imagination.
yeah,
As in, I don't need money, I don't need experience, I don't need
yeah,
credit. I just need to be able to put something in my head.
yeah,
If I can put something in my head, then the next part is okay, let me now, develop skill.
yeah,
And from a point of view of, believing bigger sooner, I'm not saying, oh, tomorrow, I'm gonna make £1 million. I'm gonna put down 50 grand and I'm gonna make 1 million quick. It's not gonna happen. But if you have that in your mind as to this is my destination, or this is
Yeah.
at least one of the milestones that I'm heading for,
Yeah.
you know, then I begin to take steps. So I'm not saying to anybody rush, but I'm just basically saying train your desire
Yeah. Yeah.
so that then you can inform your direction.
I mean, I think imagination is such an important thing. So, like you say, so we don't really understand how important our subconscious mind is, to being the driver of where you are in life. So your conscious mind does a little, but your subconscious mind is the motor. And
Yeah.
even when you do like studies, psychological, medical studies, your brain doesn't know the difference from when you are imagining and when you are doing.
100%.
Um, it's even when like
Yeah.
when you hear actors talking about like when they're acting scenes, they're like the body doesn't know. So even if I'm not angry, if I come into a scene angry, my body reacts to
Yeah.
me like I'm angry. So
Yeah.
I think it's so important. Like I mean, I think there are so many things in life that just taking the time not to rush through your day and be intentional
Yeah.
about actually let me take some time, even if
Yeah.
because like there's a lady called Caroline Leaf. She
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a cognitive neuroscientist,
Mm-hmm.
and she's even talking about like actually take 10 minutes every hour or 5 minutes every hour to daydream, to
Yeah.
allow your thoughts just to go wherever they need to go. Because yes, there's no barrier to imagination, but I think it's a skill like anything else. And the
Yeah.
more that I do it, the
Yeah.
easier I can unlock that part of my brain and the deeper I can get into it. So within 5 minutes, I can be, an egg, or I can be on another planet
Yeah.
or whatever.
Or a tree. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that our community, you know, let me just see. I feel like I can say
I think we're
it's
good.
the
I think we're good.
yeah, okay. So the black community, yeah, and the black Christian community
Yeah,
is
yeah,
uniquely positioned to be at the top of their game, imagination wise
yeah,
and creativity wise. Like, because like from when did we start playing instruments in church? From like
yeah,
4 or 5 years old, you've been beating drums, playing keys, playing guitar. That
yeah,
is a creative skill,
yeah,
right? You know how to like create like music and put it together, you know. And we've been doing that for years. So even without you realizing, you have that, you have that already
it's
in
like
you, your ability to think. And one of the things that I think we have, you know, in our kind of growing up is, you know, we didn't have that many, I don't know, like, oh, we didn't go clubbing or anything like that, but we used to do comic books, you know, and we used to be into
yeah,
superheroes. So from a very young age, like the ability to imagine that, you know, I can be something else
yeah,
was in us from very, very early. You know,
yeah,
I think there's definitely a lot of things that I am hoping to transfer to our kids from a parenting point of view to train some of these skills. You know, it's not always
yeah,
book, you
yeah.
know.
So it's not something that they have to get over the hump to access,
No,
mentally.
no.
But it's just there. No, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Um, Bolaji mentioned that I wrote a book, Building Blocks, and for me, the point of the book was exactly this conversation. I think that there are so many of us who are in a situation. I was having so many conversations with so many people who were like, who let me know that they felt like there was more in them that they wanted to get out of them, and
Yeah.
um, the the reality is that mindset is the biggest thing to be able to propel you forward. So the building blocks, it's thoughts you need to think on your way to living your ideal life. I think it's a fantastic place to start because my hope is that you leave that realizing that actually no, you're the asset. You are the thing that can make the change rather than looking outside to other people or other things to be like, oh, well, I need this. You don't need that. You don't need anything more than what you have. Just like what you're saying, from the common things that people think that are limiting. Oh, well, I was born in a poor background. Nah, that's not the imagination. Or I was, the color of my skin. All these things are real things, but none of these things are limitations to where you can go and what you can be. So I'm going to take a few minutes and just read an excerpt of the book. So this paragraph starts, it's layered. Achieving anything starts with belief first. the reality is you will not use trading forex, for example, or any other high value skill to add any additional income to your home unless you believe you can. Once you've established that belief, once you've established that belief is the only real limiting factor, then it becomes clear that your ability to achieve big things is only limited by the ability to believe you can achieve big things. And I've got another line here from Henry Ford. He said, whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. And I think it's just important to make sure that we leave here with an understanding of the fact that so believe the audacity to believe big things. Now, audacity, I think, is a good word. Are you aware, as a believer, of people maybe applying that word to you?
What I'm that how do you mean that? Oh,
Like
who am I
the
that I think?
audacity, like why you? Why you, like or going in rooms and people thinking, huh? Or people
Oh,
looking at you from the outside of your life thinking, look at this guy.
yeah. Um, I'll be honest, I've stopped listening, man. Like to me, I'm past the stage where I these things, you know, um, it, my response to the question is I don't even know because I'm not hearing it, if that makes sense. So they probably are, but I tune out. I'm now in a state where I only have headspace to handle, you know, just the purpose that I have, right? The purpose, the things that are important to me, family, my purpose, my relationship with God. If it's not that, then I just
Yeah, I'm
I
not
just turned
interested.
40, man. Like I'm a dad. I don't have a lot of space in there for anything else.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's really important as well because you made a great point that I think the church is a great breeding ground for skills and talent. And it's one of those things that when you do work experience
yeah,
and then you have to apply and you do your CV, some of us are like, what experience do I have? And some of us were able to think, okay, well, I've taken care of my younger brothers and sisters or my cousins and stuff. So I've looked after people. I have a business of
mm,
looking after. It's just framing it in your brain, you know. And I
yeah.
think so. You said you've been on some coaching programs. What's the benefit of putting yourself in a situation where you're having conversation? What's the benefit of a coaching program in this space?
In this space, okay. And just before I get to that, you mentioned something that is actually quite dear to me as well. The whole thing of skills and skills audit.
Yeah.
I have a lot of conversations with people who, for some reason, we tend to get forgetful about
Mm,
the stuff that we have actually done,
yeah.
achieved, or overcome, or whatever. And it's only when you prompt somebody, also, how did you do that? Oh yeah, yeah, no, I just, oh, it was just,
Yeah.
just did that. But you kind of like neglect the stuff that you've already achieved.
Yeah.
And I think everybody owes it to themselves to regularly keep a log of your achievements, no
Yeah.
matter how big or how small, because the fact is you achieved it. And when you kind of log them all, you put them on a piece of paper, you're going to realize that you have a history of
Yeah.
overcoming, right? So you have a history of, challenge, overcoming challenge. And it can help to, change your identity. So if we are struggling with that kind of thing of, so many bad things are happening to me. But if you flip that on its head, well, actually, you've
Yeah.
overcome so many
Yeah.
things. So, you're an overcomer.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a change of perspective. But to your question, why are coaching programs good?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So I think for me, one of the things that I am realizing more and more as the, grays begin to show and the age begins to tell is that as much as I know, I feel like I know nothing. I'm now of the point of, because I know the scope of,
Mm.
I am aware of the scope of, the world and, all of God's creation, that the level of my knowledge is a drop in the ocean. So I now I can't like be so naive to think I know it all.
Yeah.
So if I'm trying to head in a certain direction, then it bodes well for me to be around people who have done that before, or to align myself with somebody who is further ahead than me. You know, they say success leaves clues.
Yeah, yeah,
So if there is somebody who is, leading the way to where I want to go, I would rather, it bodes well to kind of like go in that
yeah.
direction and be around, be around that energy.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean, I think that the just like you're saying, it shortens the either the learning curve or the achievement curve,
yeah, yeah,
because I heard somebody say that a wise man learns from other people's mistakes. Life is too short for me to
yeah,
learn everything I need to learn by making my own mistakes.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to speak to somebody else. And I think so because all these things that, by the way, I covered in a book in terms of like whether to engage and thinking of the fact that it might be that I invest in myself, because like we're actually. I think the issue is that it's probably that we don't see ourselves of value. We invest in other people's things, our friends' businesses, and we invest in McDonald's and KFC and Subway and all these things, and we don't either we're not seeing ourselves as worthy of investment, so we're not putting our money into ourselves, honing our own skills to put
yeah,
ourselves in a position to be able to like, even look at yourself in the mirror and thinking, rah, I did that. So I have a folder on my drive. I think it's called All of Me, and just like you say, I've listed. So if I mean for me, it's even down to stuff like I can drive. I can ride a bike. All of these are skills that I have, and it's really useful every now and then just to sit back and say, okay, yeah, yeah, no, this is something that I have done, to be able to give you the confidence to be able to move forward and say, well, this next hard thing, I can do this next hard thing. In fact, I think there's a example in the Bible. The reason David was able to go and deal with Goliath in his own words, where everyone else was scared, looking at the problem, was like, hold on. So, in a time when nobody was looking at me, I dealt with a bear and I dealt with a lion, and so this,
come at me, Goliath.
so
What?
this giant, like, if I was able to do that, why wouldn't I be able to do? Why wouldn't I be able to do this? So, I mean, I'm just looking at the people on the chat and they're thinking like skills audit. We've got people who can play drums. We've got people who can play guitar. Shout out David. Shout out Barry. We've got people who can sing. We've got people who have pulled themselves up from a difficult situation and now achieving in life. We've got people who are parents. I mean, if you want to in the chat, put your skills, put the things that you bring to the table. I think what I'm hoping that you are getting from this is that like there's almost a concept that people are thinking, oh, when I arrive, I grew up this guy. When I arrive, I will value myself when. But I'm saying is that in terms of looking at yourself as a person of value, if you junior guitarist, if you look at the things that you have already achieved, there is somebody looking at your life and looking at your skills and saying, I wish I could do that. Public speaking.
Just,
So,
just to add to that, like this isn't all conceptual or like, oh,
mm,
this is there's
theoretical.
a real value to it, right?
Yeah.
So there is an industry right now that they refer to as the knowledge industry, and it is valued at around $243 billion, and it's set to get to $1 billion a day within the next 5 years. And the way that people are consuming information and education is changing to the
Yeah.
point where every one of the skills that you're listing there is a market for it.
Yeah.
So it's not just, oh, I have this skill and it's theoretical, this is good. Like you could make money. I know not that it's all about money, but you can actually be the solution to somebody's problem to the to
Yeah.
the point that they will pay you for it.
Yeah.
So all the more your skills are very valuable,
Very
more
valuable.
valuable than
Than you
you
think.
actually probably
Absolutely.
realize.
Absolutely. So, before we have any sort of closing words and stuff, because we want to respect your time, does anybody have any questions? Any comments on what we've said? Do you disagree with us? Like, please come at us. Anybody want to say anything or ask any questions before we give our closing remarks? Because I think it's been a really interesting, useful session. Um, qualifying what we talk about thinking big and the audacity of it and putting yourself in a position where you realize that you are the asset. So, does anybody have any questions? I have a question. So Bolaji, you're doing all these things, and we're working together on some things. Somebody who believes that there's something, but they can't identify what the something is. What's the next step?
Um, so I would say do a skills audit, right? So do a list of the things that you're good at, but also do a list of the things that you're passionate about. A combination of those two things will give you an idea of the thing. And then once you have that, just know that there is nothing new under the sun.
Hmm.
So actually go out and do some research on people or organizations or initiatives that are similar. And if you can find a handful of people doing a similar thing, then you've kind of done the initial validation to determine that, okay, I have an idea.
Yeah.
And there is market for it, and then just put it out there.
Yeah.
The best way to test what the market wants is to let the market tell you what the market wants.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think, in some ways we may have to, like, I mean, this is another conversation for another day, and this kind of is dealt with in the book. We're gonna have to try and get over ourselves and stop being so concerned about putting ourselves out there and what the implications of that. What if I fail? What if it goes really well? What are people gonna think? Like, life is too short for you to dim your light.
Yeah.
For other people's convenience. We've got a question. Would you like to ask your question?
Yes. You know how you said about hi,
Hazy.
like a Ryan Manglo.
I did it for you.
You know how thinking big?
Yeah.
Like, what terms is thinking big? Because like thinking big could mean different things for lots of people.
Yeah. That's a very good question.
Is your question what is thinking big?
Yes.
Good question. Good question.
So, and I think Ezekiel has touched on a very good point because it speaks to everybody's journey being different, right? So one thing I don't want anybody to do is look at what somebody's doing over there and making yourself feel inadequate if you're not, you're not doing this, and conversely, you should never feel superior to somebody if you feel like you're doing stuff and somebody's not, oh, what's wrong with you? Your mates are marrying, what are you doing? It's like don't don't be don't be doing that. But I think I guess for me, what I'm getting at with the whole big, if I change it to bigger, right? So wherever you're thinking now, add something to it. Because there is more. Like there is more. There is room for more. No matter where you are, there is room for more. So I would always kind of like say, go for the bigger. I'll give an example. I watch a lot of trash TV, and one of the programs that I have watched, guilty pleasure, is Cobra Kai. Yeah, so Cobra Kai is where high school people are doing karate in shopping malls and in school and in the car parks, because that's what you do. But there is it makes me think of like let's say a training exercise where if there's a piece of wood here, but there is something on the other end. Now, most of us, we might say, okay, I'm going to hit this thing here and I'm going to stop. But thinking big or thinking bigger means this is what I need to get through to get to the thing there. So my thrust is gonna imply that there is more behind this. And if we stop here, the main reason that you would have stopped is because you didn't have the vision to kind of perceive that there is something behind it. So that's why I'm saying for like just kind of like aim. They say aim for the moon and maybe you'll get the sky.
Yeah.
Aim bigger. Just aim
Aim
bigger.
bigger, yeah. I mean, we had
Yeah.
a conversation with the kids and we were talking about the story of the ugly duckling, which was a swan, right? And I think, these kind of fables and stuff, they have so many things that are useful for even adults. So the back to like the caterpillar and the butterfly, the ugly duckling didn't realize that he was a swan. So if he was going to compare himself to people around him, he'd be like, my goodness, look at me, look at all these people. And because of the fact that he's a swan, he's not taken to water like everyone else. But look at what everybody is doing compared to me. And if because of the fact that he didn't realize the value that was in him, and then when eventually he grew up and became a swan, everyone was like, oh my goodness. So our conversation with the children is like don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Comparison is a very costly thing. It's a very deadly thing. Don't worry about all that. You just concentrate on making sure that you're doing everything that you need to do, because leaning into that puts you in a position to be the swan. I've got a comment from Imani. It's wise to include others in your vision if it's something. Is it wise, sorry, to include others in your vision if it's something that you feel you cannot manage on your own? Example, having a team that support your idea with working full time, etc., among other responsibilities. It isn't always easy to set up an idea and push forward on your own without support. Imani, that's very, very true. That's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. And so, I mean, I'll give my answers. I'll see what you want to say as well, Bolaji. But I think the answer is definitely yes. And I think it's in the context of what you've said in terms of team. So I think that there is some value in keeping yourself accountable to people that respect and love you and you respect and love. I'm not sure necessarily that broadcasting to everybody is an appropriate thing. There'll come a time for that, but in the beginning stages, I think it's sensible to protect your dream, but also cocoon yourself with people who are going to support you. And I think I was talking to somebody today or yesterday that the concept of self-made is a myth. So this concept that you have to do everything yourself, I think, is played. Like nobody got to anywhere, wherever anywhere is, by themselves. So being in a situation where you can allow people to do things for you, I think is very, very sensible. You want to comment on that, Bolaji?
Yeah, I mean, I would echo everything that you said. I guess just a case in point, all of the things that you've listed that I may or may not be involved in, there is not one business that I run by myself. Every single one of my businesses has a team or a set of partners or people that are involved. So I am not I don't think of myself so highly that I can do everything. I might be skilled at things, but I know that to operate at the level that I need to operate at, I need people, but also no man is an island, right? So I might have a vision for something, but I know that I am completely, terrible at certain areas that are required for certain businesses that I'm involved in. So if I do not respect that fact, then I'm gonna basically, not make a good go of the business. So it's about, knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses and being able to cover your blind spots. Yeah. So yeah.
So I think again we're getting to the end of the session. We want to respect everybody's time. Does anybody have any last comments or questions? Thank you very much, Auntie Janet. Appreciate your kind words. Does anybody else have anything else to comment or say? Bolaji, if you're going to be rustling up some words of wisdom that we can leave people with. I mean, I think for me, the point of this session was to, really drive home, everybody has something to offer.
You're very
If
welcome, Imani.
Yeah, if you have believed that you don't have anything to offer, you've believed a lie. And it's important for you to put yourself in a position where you can get yourself to believe that you have something to offer. You can walk into the room with your head held high, knowing that you bring value in that room. They don't have your perspective, your voice, your experience, your knowledge, your skills without you. I can't, and just like Bolaji is saying, there is probably somebody, if you were to package the thing that probably somewhere in this digital world where we have access to billions of people who would want to know what you know. You wouldn't have to know any more than you know. They would want to know what you know because you are further down that road than they are. So it's something to think about. For those who are interested, obviously, I've written the book. I've put the place to pre-order the book in the chat. One of the things that Master Builders, which is the organization that I'm running, is doing is providing some packages for people who are like, look, I realize that I might need some help. There is a place that I want to go, but I might need a coach. I might need a mentor. I might need a community. And you're going to be able to access that at the buildingblocks.live / pre-order page. And we're going to be working with Bolaji and his wonderful wife Fumi and their organization, the Family Business Blueprint, as well as Just Launch, which is these are packages that he's put together to help people take it from a concept to a profitable business. And again, I mean, what kinds of things are people, what kind of industries, Bolaji, are people bringing to you?
I mean, people are bringing the most random of things, right? So there's examples of people making, money in this arena, teaching somebody how to walk a dog, or I don't even retain the randomness of some of the ideas, but people that we've got on our program, we've got some sensible stuff, right? So we've got relationship coaching, we've got mindset coaching, we've got people who are teaching people how to do media, how to do podcasts, and we've got people that we've worked with that are doing property, but essentially any skill that you have, and you can take somebody just one step further than where they are now. It's valuable, and you can launch something from it.
Yeah. So any closing words, Bolaji, before we let people go on their way?
Yes. So I wanted to talk specifically about the point of getting there sooner. I'm going to give an example. When I was, heavily into the corporate world, I did years working permanently in investment banking within the IT space. And I was hearing about, these people that, like people that I was managing, they were telling me, oh, I just bought like a Mercedes, M3 over the weekend. And I'm like, something's not making sense because I know how much I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
And like, what's going on here? But then I realized that there was this thing called contracting, right? So contracting basically means that for the exact same job, there's a way that I can do the job and get paid like 3 times more. So, and then I was scared to do contracting because I thought, oh, maybe I need to be more skilled. Maybe I need to, be better at my job, to do it. But then I was looking at these people that were contracting. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can do what you're doing. I could do it, So then one fateful day, I made the decision to go contracting, and it was just one of those feelings that it's like when I was doing the job, and then I got my first paycheck, I'm like, wow. I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I had done it sooner. And that's what I mean about, get there sooner, believe in bigger sooner, because there was absolutely nothing about my skill set that had changed. There was absolutely nothing about like the time that it took me to do it where I developed anything more than what I had, let's say 4 years before I started contracting. So that kind of is the point about believing bigger sooner. But then the last analogy that I'm giving, and closing remarks, preacher, closing remarks. the last thing I will say is, understand your value, right? So I'll give an example that I regularly give. Consider a bottle of water. Yeah. So a bottle of water in Tesco's is probably going to cost £1. That same bottle of water in a filling station is likely going to cost £2. That same bottle of water in, an airport might cost £3, right? But it's the exact same bottle of water.
Yeah.
So why is it being, charged or priced differently in different, shops? Because the arena that it's in determines the value that's placed on it. So for us, I would suggest that, find the arena that values your gift the most, because it's out there. And if you haven't found it, trust me, there is an arena that your current skills will be valued so much more than what you're doing now. And I would say you owe it to yourself to at least explore. Just know that it's out there. So yes, thank you guys for listening.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure.
I want to say on the piggyback of that, just like I've said it before, I want to mention it again. It's not even just that you owe it to yourself, because sometimes we won't even see that we do it for ourselves. You owe it to us. You owe it to the world to bring everything that God put inside you out. We as a community, we are lesser for you dimming your light. So for our sake, please live your biggest life, believe as big as you can, as quick as you can. I think that's enough for today. I want to thank my special guest, Bolaji Olatoye, digital entrepreneur, Thanos Iron Man impersonator. And yeah, so you guys
Thank you.
Keep an eye out for the transformation tour on YouTube. Get the book, get involved with the coaching program at buildingblocks.live/pre-order, and have a good evening. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. God bless.